Do you remember when building on to like the running up to the first event? I remember speaking to people who were taking part, and the way that they were switching the diets, and they were like, they were almost like the training took over, the lifestyle changed over. The impact that it had really surprised me, how much people were like not just gravitating to like the event, but exactly got on board, and it properly like it changed like their outlook of what they wanted to do with the fitness area. Did you ever think that was something, because that was at the birth what we wanted to do, but we can't like guide people, we can't set the horse to water, as they say.
I think yeah, good phrase. I think the whole competition aspect, like getting back to starting at the football side of things, the people that really got on board from the first event really took to training, because I mean, we say it in the training for every event we do, but you don't want to turn up and step in front of a ring and then get battered by someone who works in a bar opposite you.
Yeah.
I think that's the initial sort of reason why people get involved and why people step up the training and really get on board with it.
It takes balls.
Of course it does. I've had many fights in rings, and like the training aspect is so important, and you don't want to get in a ring and gas, do you?
I mean,
like I
see what you did there. I was going to try like stay away from that, but like you've been in the ring as well, haven't you?
I was in the ring, obviously. I used to fight. I fought all over the world kickboxing, but then through a certain call out from a certain friend of mine, I had to step back in on event number 2 at the town hall. But yeah, I was case in point for that exact point as to why training is so important. I went into that fight with Dom, who, shout out to Dom, who's been integral in the training and the coaching part of our event since. But I went into that sort of with my mind focused on the event itself, and how I was going to run the event. Didn't really pay enough attention to my own training and my own fitness. I believe that I beat him in the first round. But yeah, then my gas tank went, and I think that's why training is so important, and why our participants and the bartenders and whatnot, it's so important for them to get in. So yeah, and I obviously lost my gas tank with in that fight with Dom. And yeah, and getting back to that point, training is so important. Nobody wants to do that, especially in front of their friends. So yeah, and get fighters who are signing up to be part of our event. The majority of them take the training very, very seriously, especially in that first event. But yeah, it was very, very good.
Let's lean on the training, because I mean that's your world. You proper like own that, and you see the development. You see how people go through. I mean, going to sort of touch on how maybe the nerves are there, but how people push through, and also a shout out to the places that we've done our training at as well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously from the first event we approached a few different gyms, and we landed on choosing to work with Golden Team based down on Brunswick Road. So a massive shout out to Padraig who runs that gym. It's a very successful gym. It produces champions, and it has done for years. He's a champion himself. So working with them guys was pretty special. So yeah, for the first event we used them. Well, for the first 5 events we've used them. But yeah, when people sign up and they come down to the training, I think we had a mix of people who've done a little bit of training before in terms of boxing training, but the majority, 90% of people who sign up are novices. So they've never thrown a punch before. They've never thrown a punch before in a street fight. Never thrown a punch before in a boxing ring. Like, never even hit a bag before, or hit a pair of pads before. So yeah, there is an element of nerves there, but I think people genuinely just want to learn. They don't want to go into a fight with no knowledge.
Do you think that it's a fitness element, or do you think it's a fighting element? What do you think drives people to want to get into ropes, away from the charity side?
I think it's a definite mix of both. Obviously, like we said before, there's not many events out there that involve health and well-being and the general fitness of people of our industry. So yeah, the fitness side of it's massive. But I genuinely think it's a competition. I think especially as events have gone on and we've had more and more call-outs, people just want to get in there and compete and be part of the event that's sort of unique to this industry.
So do you see that week in, week out when the sparring gets cracking?
When training first starts at every event, especially at like the first event or the first couple of events, you get people in there and then I remember watching Evie on the floor one day doing sit-ups and it was just hilarious. It's because it's all new to them. But yeah, they'll get in and even when they start hitting pads and they'll say sorry to each other. It's like they'll hit and they'll apologise, but then, and I'm constantly telling them, don't apologise, you're not going to apologise in a ring. But yeah, that aspect of watching them sort of develop over the 8 to 10 weeks, depending on which event it is it's quite phenomenal, really. And that's what brings me most pride in the event, I think.
What's it like in the switch from them training to them finding out who they're going to be taking on and still training with them?
I think there's just more of a competitive edge. Like, there's no bad blood ever. There's no bad blood. It's not like in the real world of fighting or the real world of boxing, where you know you're fighting months before and you just have this vision of wanting to kick their head in. Whereas some fighters know who they're fighting, especially in that first event. There was a lot of call-outs, wasn't there? So it was easy to sort of match up some fights. But for the ones that didn't know and then they find out at a later date, there's just so much love there. So the training, I'd say it steps up because they know who's in front of them, especially if they believe that person is sort of in front of them ability-wise.
Are they sizing one another up?
Oh, 100%. I think that's just natural instincts though. You'd do that in any sport, wouldn't you? But yeah, it does step up training, and they do, especially because the first couple of weeks, and we do training 2 to 3 times a week, and if some people come to all of them sessions, then some people will be like, oh, I'll miss this one, come to the next one. But as soon as their names are called, you get more definites at training and training ups.